Hey, it's Benjie Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Dr. Jerome Smith. We're going to be discussing his amazing book, Cleveland Around the World. Available for purchase through Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com. But people, if you want to gather everything that Dr. Smith has in store, well, do yourself a favor and head directly to his personal site. That's Poise Entertainment Education Company.org. There, you'll find more information on Dr. Smith himself, more information on this wonderful book, as well as find hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing page. So one more time, that's Poise Entertainment Education Company.org. And guys, in addition to that, I'm also going to give you a toll-free number that you can always call to gather more information. And that's 855-604-9333. Again, that's 855-604-9333, toll-free number where you can gather more information. And I will say, Dr. Smith was brought to our network by some of the best publishers in the business, Author Reputation Press. So if you or anybody you know have a book that they'd like moved, give yourself the best gift you could possibly give. Contact ARP and have their fantastic team move it for you. And you can find out more information on them at authorreputationpress.com. One of the main messages that you're going to find, it's an educational book, and it's really going to showcase the importance of the entertainment industry and the opportunities associated with them. This is going to be a wonderful education and a wonderful ride. So listen, this is what I want you to do. Sit back, strap in, and have your notebooks ready, because Dr. Smith is about to take us to class, okay? He's the expert. He's written the book, and he is going to be able to articulate everything much better than I ever could. So let's bring him here with us. Dr. Smith, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and thank you, Mr. Cole, for having me. It's a great pleasure to be on your show.
Well, listen, Dr. Smith, the pleasure is all ours, okay? I truly mean that. So thank you. And listen, you had to lay the foundation in order for us to even invite you on the network. So thank you for the work that you've done and hopefully will continue to do. Now, I know we have a lot of information to discuss pertaining to the book, but let's hold off slightly, Dr. Smith, because I want to learn a little bit more about you first, okay? So tell our listening audience a little bit more about your background.
Okay, briefly, I am a prior educator with Birmingham, Alabama School District, Cleveland, Ohio School District, and parochial school district.
Well, listen, let me be the first to tell you here, based upon your background in education, Dr. Smith, I had a very brief stint in education myself, and I have a lot of family and friends that are educators now. Educators never, first and foremost, they don't get paid nearly enough for the amount of work that they have to put in, but they never get the amount of appreciation that they deserve for the number of hats that they have to wear, man. Because listen, it doesn't matter which class you may be assigned to teach. On any given day, you're also going to be a referee. You're going to need to be a therapist. You're going to need to be a friend. I mean, like, there's so much that goes into it that unless you're in that world, you're just not exposed to and you just don't know. So thank you very much for the work that you have done in the past. And I'm sure the education that you're going to continue to give through this, because as an educator, whether you're in the class or outside, you're always educating. So thank you very much for all the work that you've put forth, helping shape and mold the minds of future generations.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Dr. Smith, without further ado, Cleveland Around the World. Talk to us a little bit more about your book.
Well, first of all, Cleveland Around the World is a very, very great historical book that the world, it's just breathtaking, because the book identified the tens of thousands of jobs and careers in the arts and entertainment industry geared to communities and school districts worldwide. Sadly to say that our school districts and our communities have very little knowledge about the arts and entertainment industry. But the cherry on the top of the book, our main focus is to reduce school shootings. We feel that if we can get the students and parents and communities involved in the arts and entertainment with these jobs and careers, we feel that would reduce the percentage of school shootings.
You know, Dr. Smith, I want to go over the title of your book because I'm absolutely fascinated by it. There's something about it that is just so unique because when you think about the narrative itself and then you hear the title, I'm not making the connection myself, and I think that is actually what is so intriguing about it. So please go into that description, and why did you choose that title to be the representation for your book?
Very good question, Mr. Cole. I've been asked that question hundreds and numerous of times. Well, to identify and summarize Cleveland around the world, that title, you must understand that jobs and careers that is focused and the number of careers and jobs are actually around the world. As we know, there are so many. So each and every one of those jobs are actually in every state, every county, every country, and just a variety of those jobs is everywhere, and then some. That is one of the reasons how we came up with Cleveland around the world, because the jobs and careers are actually around the world. There are different positions, different jobs, different locations, and a lot of entertainment is always going around the world 24/7. Mm-hmm. So these jobs are around the world.
There you have it. I love it. Thank you very much for explaining, Dr. Smith. Listen, let's cover inspiration next. Okay. Now, let's just get right to the heart of the matter. What inspired you to write this particular narrative?
Well, first of all, being a classroom teacher for over 30 years, believe me, I have seen everything and then some. And to keep the students' motivation, their attention, keeping them learning, keeping them graduating, keeping them focused. Statistics states that 92% of the arts and entertainment industry has the most effect on our children today. So as an educator, one of my strategies or techniques in the classroom, I would always turn a lesson into a form of entertainment, staying with the subject matter, but actually using an entertainment method to motivate the students, to keep the students upbeat and listening. That is one of the concepts that I would always use and strategies that I would use in my classroom. And believe me, it works, because we know that each and every last one of us have some type of liking of the industry itself.
You know, sticking with the concept of inspiration, but now broadening it a bit. When it comes to writing itself, Dr. Smith, was writing always a hobby of yours growing up? Were there artists that inspired you? What really made you feel compelled to embark upon a creative journey and become a writer?
Well, I have always been in the entertainment industry as a child growing up. But noticing my career as an entertainer, because I was a commercial model, a songwriter, and an actor, and that inspired me. And then being a classroom teacher, I became one day at the crossroads of my career journey. And being an educator on one side of the fence and being an entertainer on the other side of the fence, I had to come to grips with myself and say, okay, what pathway do I want to follow? So I consider myself to be very religious and supernatural being of being proudful. So those are some of the questions that I have reached out to the super being and asked him, which way should I follow my career path? And the concept that came into my mind was, why don't you put them together? And that was kind of mind-boggling. And I said, how do I put education and entertainment together? And I thought about that for a moment, but being guided with the supernatural spirit, I decided that I would need a writer and then explore all of my expertise and knowledge, how I should be able to come up with a program called You Can Do It. And we have a prior book out, The Greatest You Can Do It program, before Cleveland Around the World. And that is how basically summarizing. I mean, it goes farther, deeper than that. If we had enough time, I wish I could tell the whole story, but we don't have enough time. But that is like a summary of how I came together to put a Poise Entertainment Education Company together and coming up with a program called You Can Do It that identified the tens of thousands of jobs and careers in the arts and entertainment industry.
People, again, we're here on the line with Dr. Jerome Smith. We're discussing his incredible book, Cleveland Around the World. Available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, but make sure you check out his personal site, Poise Entertainment Education Company.org, or also call the toll-free number for more information, 855-604-9333. You know, Dr. Smith, a fantastic segue that you've established, because the next question that I want to go into is really a further exploration of the You Can Do It program that you've established, and really not only the program itself, but in addition to your overall experience, right, and the number of years that you were in the classroom teaching, what type of research did you do in preparation for this book and for the development of that program?
Well, first of all, that's a wonderful question that I have received a lot of response and questions in regards to that concept. As an educator for many years, 30 years or more, sitting in the classroom watching our children, their needs, their responsibility for life, and trying to get them through one day through the next, and also upon graduation, I said to myself, something has got to be done for our children in this modern society. And I said to myself, well, why don't I come up with some type of arts and entertainment program? Because I have been using that strategy for many years in my classroom, and it seemed to work. I was getting high reviews from parents, teachers, administrators about the success of my classroom students, and it really made me proud. So I began to reach out to other entertainment industry. And as you know, we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum here in Cleveland. So that was one of my resources. I reached out, matter of fact, to the CEO, and I submitted that You Can Do It program to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I explained to them that we need to take this to a higher level for our communities in our school districts, and they accepted that proposal, and they thought that it would be just dynamic or an outlet that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame could allow students and communities to come in there. So we actually came up with a TV program out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, and we actually had that TV program in existence for over 3 years. And after that, You Can Do It program shooting and airing on TV throughout the state of Ohio. We decided to move forward and said, okay, now, Dr. Smith, we're on the road with our students, our community, our school district. Let's move to the next phase. So right now, we are very, very privileged. Here in Cleveland, Ohio, we are now preparing and preparing to build the Arts and Entertainment Educational Institute and Museum to actually house those jobs and careers in the arts and entertainment industry and around the world. for our students and for all students and communities worldwide. So we're doing some dynamic things here in Cleveland, Ohio for the world. And we're just so proud that Cleveland, the school districts, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, corporate leaders, business leaders, churches, and it just goes on and on, that we are doing such a wonderful job changing the world and making our students and communities aware that these jobs actually and careers actually exist. So we always call ourselves the 3 E's. Our major mission for this You Can Do It program is to educate the world, to entertain the world, and to employ the world. So basically, that's how it kind of all began.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, Dr. Smith, as we start to close out of this wonderful interview, I could think of no better question to close out on than really a way to pay it forward, right? Which really seems like this is what your entire thing is all about, right? Is paying it forward, creating awareness, as you just said, right? Educating, employing. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Well, I want to take an opportunity and I want to educate some others, right? I love having the platform that I have to be able to pay it forward, in a sense, to other artists listening in. Now, in this instance, for other writers, now you're someone that, whether it's by trade and something you've been doing your entire life or not, you've written this book and you've also gotten it published. And anybody that's been through the process understands that writing the book is only half the battle, right? So I want to take this opportunity for any new writers out there listening in right now. What are some words of wisdom that you can offer them about the journey they're getting ready to embark upon?
Well, first of all, I would say to all writers, and I would say to humanity as a whole, and especially to our students in school districts around the world, whatever your dream, whatever your passion is, don't allow anyone to stop you or sidetrack you. Just keep moving forward, because if it's there, if it's in your heart and in your mind, it will manifest. So I would think with heart, determination, and being focused and quite natural, I would always say that I'm a great person that always pray, and I know that this is probably not time to quote a biblical scripture, but I noticed one of the scriptures that kind of kept me moving forward. The reason that we do not have is because we have not asked. So I think if we ask and have a great determination, that you will be successful. I mean, nothing is easy. Expect a lot of rain, but boy, remember, when that sunshine comes, it's going to be well worth it, and you'll be so proud. So just keep a strong determination and hard work, and you'll get where you're supposed to be.
Fantastic advice. And people, listen, just adding on top of that, you couldn't really appreciate the sunshine unless you experience the rain, right? I mean, a lot of times we want to avoid the adversity that we face. But listen, I'm right there with you, right? I'd rather avoid a lot of the challenges that I face as well. But at the end of the day, people, that adversity that we face, that we go through, that we overcome, equates to wisdom. So you can't avoid it, right? And I love what he's talking about here. And I remember distinctly, it was years ago, but at some point in my life, in my very early adult life, I realized that there aren't any wins and losses in life. There are wins and lessons, right? So even in those quote unquote losses, there's silver linings. There are things to be gained. There are things to be learned. And if you shift your perception and view it that way, there's never a loss, right? I mean, there's always things that you can learn, grow, and build from, so you could avoid that in the future. Now, please understand, people, I know I'm oversimplifying here, right? Because, for the case of this interview, an oversimplification is what's necessary. But I love the words of wisdom there. There's so much to be gained, whether you're an artist or just a human being. I promise you can take that and apply it to your circumstances. You know what you have to do. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Poise Entertainment Education Company.org are the places you have to go. Cleveland Around the World is the title you have to pick up, and Dr. Jerome Smith is the author you have to thank for bringing it to your table. A wonderful resource for you to add to your shelf, an even better gift to add to someone else's. While you're at it, make sure to check into the toll-free number if you want to gather more information, and that's 855-604-9333. I promise you, pick up this book. You will definitely not be disappointed. Dr. Smith, this has been an absolute pleasure. Such an honor. I truly mean that. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
And thank you so much for having me, and you have a wonderful, blessed day.